Hi there, I'm 𝗏𝗏𝗏. Welcome to my very used studio. I have a lot of different things going on here. Today I'd like to invite you to watch over my shoulder as I sketch a portrait. It's going to be a 16 by 20 acrylic on canvas, portrait of 3 children. And today I'm just going to sketch it out using the grid technique to get accurate proportions. So if you struggle with getting accurate likenesses within your portraits, making the person look like the person you're trying to paint, I think this video will be really helpful for you. So watch over my shoulder. I'm going to switch over, get the camera right on the canvas, and we'll begin. Okay, so I have the canvas right here, gridded out with 20 squares wide, and I believe it's 16 high. 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. So basically 1-inch squares. This is a 16 by 20 canvas, and I used a grid drawing tool at a website. I think it was Art Tutor that provided that. Just want to say shout out to Art Tutor and thank you for that tool. And then I actually did an overlay on top of the photo with that and printed it off. I used to use a plastic overlay, and that is also convenient if you want to move the grid around, but it's nice to actually have the grid flush with your picture and just print it off, in one step. So this is the reference photo. I have 3 beautiful children here that you can see in the original photo, the angle of it, shown right here and here and here. And I thought that would look awkward to have them tilted so much to the right. So in Photoshop, I just altered the angle of the original photo and made their faces a little more straight on. And I think that's going to give it a more aesthetically pleasing composition. So I have my burnt ochre Prismacolor colored pencil, and I really like using colored pencils for sketching. If you've seen my videos before, they just work super well on top of a gridded canvas that has some gesso and matte medium mixed on top, and of course applied and then dried. You'll find it very, very easy to erase. So you want to have the colored pencil, and then you also want to grab an eraser, and I better do that before I go any further here. So for an eraser, you can use one of these extra soft white erasers, and you can buy them pretty much at any art store. Also, you can use a kneaded eraser as well. You'll have to find out what works best for you. This can work for larger areas, but if you want to pinpoint an area, sometimes it's better to have this kind of an eraser. All right, so to get started, I'm just going to ask a blessing on this like I usually do before I start any project. Because God is the master artist, I like to invite him to make sure I have all my creative energy flowing in the right place. So I'm just going to pray quick. Father, I ask you to bless this portrait. Help me to be able to sketch it accurately so that it would look like the beautiful family there. Could capture their likenesses accurately, and just help me to get the shading, the proportions, everything working together to create a beautiful portrait that the client would love. And then also for the people watching this video, Lord, I pray you bless them in their painting and in their drawing, and that this video here would teach them some techniques on how to do it better. And so we just ask this blessing on the whole project in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, without further ado, I'm going to start sketching. I'm going to look and count to make sure I'm starting in the right place. That's the most important thing. And got to make sure my squares match up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now I have 15 squares here, but 16 on the actual canvas. Excuse me, still fighting a cold here. So I have to make a decision where I want this to start. And I think what I'll do is I'll lower it down. Actually, no, this looks like the top line is right up here at the top. So I'm going to start it from the top, and it'll probably give me just a little more space at the bottom. But I think that'll be all right. So that's what I'm going to do in this case. I'm going to start at the top here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And some people like to actually draw numbers on their grids. You can do that if that helps you out. I find that once I get started, pretty much it's good to go. It's just that first square. You want to make sure you're starting accurately. And what I'm going to do is just kind of follow the proportions. I see this line intersects the square just a little bit down here. And bring it down, just using short, choppy strokes. That way, if I want to change directions, it's pretty easy to do that. And we're following this contour of her hair. It's a little ambiguous, but it kind of, I'm always paying attention to where it intersects. Does it go to the corners? Does it go, you know, maybe a quarter of the way to the right or left? And here it kind of intersects, but it crosses over a little bit. And then it goes in right here. It starts to curve down a little. And then it's maybe about a little less than halfway over between this vertical and that vertical. And then this line represents her arm and her shoulder, and that crosses over about right here. It doesn't have to be perfect. I can always adjust it. I just want to get the overall feel. And then I'm going to bring this arm down right here. And this would represent the boy's arm right there. And we'll just kind of quickly capture that. And I'm going to erase those lines. I don't think they're quite accurate. They go down a little further. This kind of goes up like that. This is representing the clothing, which has some very interesting textures and contours. And then it kind of goes up here. I'm just more or less getting the outside edges, the outlines of the subjects here. And then I'll work in with the details after I do that. I want to make sure that I'm pleased with the composition, especially since I had to, you know, change the aspect. Here I have 15 squares and here I have 16. Just count down here from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's kind of tilt this in just a little bit here. Just enough so that you can see it and I can see it. Okay, so we said what? 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that would be the beginning of his head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to make sure I'm on the right page here. And let's see. Yeah, I think it's going to go somewhere about there. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 to his ear. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a half. And there's the ear. So it should be about right here. Now I could be off in that. It might actually be the square below. I think it is. Yeah, I think it goes down here actually. And this is where we can get just a little bit lost. So I'm just going to work from this part here, which I know is accurate. And again, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. So the top of the ear should be right here. Okay, I see where it's supposed to be. We can bring that down right there. This can cut in just a little bit. And then this would be part of his neck. And we have his chin right here, but let's just get his arm and then that pillow in. So we have the outside edge of the arm right here, and this would be the inside. Just kind of cut up like that. These interesting textures on the pillow. We kind of go down like that. And then we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half is where her hand is. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. So her hand actually would start right there. I think that's correct if I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. Yeah, that's what it is. And that kind of cuts across. And we want to make sure we have this fairly accurate here. I don't want to get too crazy. But it goes on for, let's see, the half, and then we have 3, 1, 2, 3 and a half. It's about the end there of it. There's a part of a sleeve right here. And then this goes all the way down to the bottom. All right, I'm gonna have to double check something here really quick. All right, so I just realized the composition won't work. So what I did is I actually started erasing everything, and you can see here how easy it is to erase colored pencil on this kind of a canvas. And my grid is sealed underneath by matte medium and gesso. So the grid doesn't erase, which is nice. But the sketch is able to be completely erased. So I guess sometimes it's good to make mistakes just so you can demonstrate other cool things that otherwise, you know, we might take for granted. And anyway, it's a learning process for me too, just to remember if the grids don't match up, I have to double check and make sure the composition is going to work. So a little bit of time lost on that venture, but that's all right. What I'm going to do is swap this around really quick, and I think with that it'll be just a little more accurate because these squares are just a little further from the top. So I'm going to pause this quick and switch this canvas around, and then we'll begin again. Okay, I have it switched around, and what I'm going to do is actually start from the lower left side, and I'm going to work my way up from left to right and kind of from this corner spreading out. And then that way when I count, that should be accurate as well. So I'm going to count off, let's see, 1, 2, 3. No, actually, yeah, 1 to 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Yeah, math was not one of my best subjects back in school, but nevertheless, you can figure it out. So we start on the third line, and we're going to just get this angle showing the boy's arm. And then this angle showing the girl's arm. Now, this is the hair. And we're just, again, paying attention to where those angles line up. Keeping the strokes very short and choppy so I can redirect them. This would be the top of the head, which basically goes to this line here. Again, I'm adding that extra grid line to the top because, you know, we counted off 16 here, but only 15 in the reference photo. Having a little extra space on top, I don't think will hurt. It's better than having it too crowded on the bottom, I think. So bring this down and we count how many. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I wonder if I went too far over with that. I guess it's always a possibility to do that, because here we literally have 2 full squares and then this portion and then this portion. So this needs to go down to the corner. And then like that. It's always good to double check yourself if you're not sure. And this kind of cuts in like that. And I can always redefine it later. I just want to get the overall feel of where the outside edges are going to be. And I'll just count from the top, but make sure I'm starting from this line right here, because that's where it actually is going to be within the reference photo. And I count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's about where we go with the top of the boy's head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about right there. And his head intersects. Let's see, make sure I have that correct. Going from the left, we'll just count off there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's actually about where his head should start. Right there. And let's see, and then from the edge here, we're looking at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's right. Sometimes it's a little deceiving because I don't have the actual facial features and I just have the outside of the head. I get the ears, start drawing them in. And let's see, the chin goes down a little further than what I would think, all the way down here, I guess. It cuts up. I don't have to have the shape perfect, just overall want to get the right proportions at this stage. His hair should be see, going about to this edge right here. And then we have the ear right here, something like that. Let's do the outside of her head. Let's make sure we have them going to the right area. I might have done that wrong. Let's see. It's the edge of the hair on her face. Well, let's see. It's right here. Oh, I did that right. Next line. And then it starts right here. We'll bring this up. And it just intersects, goes maybe, an eighth of the way past this horizontal line. And down like that, to about halfway. And then let's see, the top of her hairline goes like this, just kind of cutting in with that right now, just so I can get an idea of what's going on. This line represents that. Looks like I need to push this hairline out a little bit. And then that's where her actual forehead and temple area is. And then if this ear stops right around here, her chin should be in that same horizontal line. So it should be just a little bit higher though, about to the middle of these two lines. And then just kind of get in the overall form of her chin. Like that. And then, okay, where's her shoulder at? It's projecting out, I think, above a little bit. There's some hair coming out on top of it. And it goes down like that. And we'll just curve this down just like that. Now, let's go back in and do some of these faces. I'm going to start at this point right there. And let's sharpen the pencil. When they get dull like this, they don't work quite as well. There we go. A sharp pencil makes all the difference in the world. Just getting the contour of her face as defined by the edge of the hair and the face. Looks like her chin, and it cuts in like that, and maybe goes a little lower than what I originally had it at. There's some hair kind of ambiguous, but it's flowing like this, going down at some nice diagonal strokes. Seeing it cuts in maybe just a little bit of the way here. I try to see those little shapes created by where it cuts across the grid. Now, you have the hair flowing down, and it folds over like so. And then we just want to get the overall shape of the outside parts of the hair. We don't want to get too bogged down with the details just yet. I'm going to define the shoulder so I can know where to define the rest of the hair. Paying attention to these angles. And let's get this lower portion of his arm. Just have this kind of cut up like that. And then we have, let's see, this portion of the arm down here. And some folded drapery, bed material. I guess looks like a big pillow. It cuts in, something like that. I'm not trying to get the wrinkles exactly like what I see in the reference photo yet. Just want to get the overall proportions here. Angles down like that. And then again, we have the hand. We'll start defining that. Goes for 1 square, 2 squares, and a portion of a 3rd square. And we have this fold in her clothing. It's creating that shape here that we see of her sleeve kind of coming out in perspective toward us. And part of the sleeve down here. Okay. And then we have the hand going in right there. And then let's draw in some of the wrinkles within the clothing. And the hair is just flowing effortlessly. Yeah, I can talk. The hair is flowing effortlessly down. I don't think I should try to say that word for a while. You ever have that? You just have one word that you stumble on, and I think your brain just gets used to saying it the wrong way. That's one of those words for me today. Anyway, so I just have the hair flowing down, and I really can't make out the details, but they're in there. This is kind of a dark photo that I had printed off. Okay, I'm going to stop here for a moment and just pause this and get a quick drink of water. And then I'll come back to doing the details on the face. All right, so I tell you what, I think I'm going to stop right here and start a whole new video as we go into just the details on the face, just to break this up and make it a little bit easier to digest. But if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe here to this channel so you can get notifications when I do new portrait technique videos just like this. And then also be sure to follow me on my website, realisticacrylic.com. And that's where I share all my portrait painting techniques, and I have courses and other tutorials to help you to learn how to paint a portrait that you'll love. So with that, I'm going to sign off on this video, and I'm going to start again going into the details on the face. So have a blessed day, and we'll talk to you soon.